Nothing to hide. Are you bleeping kidding me right now? OMG. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. There is a lot to go over today. We're going to talk about a few things, obviously related to It Ends With Us. We will get there, but first I want to talk about the news coming out from the Vatican. Very sad, very tragic. And then we're also going to get into remakes. Can we stop already? And then, of course, It Ends With Us. And the gaslighting never ends. And at that point, or at this point, if you're just as frustrated as I am and absolutely mind blown by this response, then you're in for this episode, because I am going to go into a deep dive about the text messages that weren't shared in Blake Lively's little lawsuit. Okay? So if you're ready, I'm ready. Buckle in, because we're about to get into it. You're in frame with Mandy Magnan. Well, hopefully today my audio doesn't kick out and it doesn't sound like I'm echoing or underwater and or have any other tech problems, because I have been having tech problems, but that's okay. It's part of the journey, I suppose. Very tragic and sad day yesterday as news rung around the world that Pope Francis has died. He died at age 88. He was sick for a while. Everyone thought that maybe he was doing better and getting better, but sadly he passed on Easter Monday. Very interesting day to pass, given that Easter is the resurrection day of the Lord, and I don't want to get into all of the conspiracy theories surrounding it. However, just the day before, J.D. Vance did meet with the Pope. And the only things I will say, I don't think it's a conspiracy theory that J.D. Vance had anything to do with it. But I do have two things to say. And one being, I think God has a way of working it out and kept the Pope alive for him to be able to tell J.D. Vance and Donnie that what they are doing is not in the name of God, Jesus, or the Catholic Church. What they are doing is inhumane, and Jesus Christ would not want them treating humans the way they're treating humans, whether they are migrants or not. The second thing I have to say about it is J.D. Vance breaks everything he touches, and here are three examples. Example number one being the Pope, obviously. Number two is being the trophy. It just shattered when he picked it up. And number three being America. Sorry, not sorry. He just is I wouldn't want him anywhere near me or shaking my hand or anywhere in my aura, okay? Because that's all I'm going to say about it is I think he has some bad juju. That's it. I think there is ew, it's just three's too many. Three's too many there, JD, okay? Three's too many. But definitely my heart and soul when I heard about the passing of the Pope was darn, 88 isn't that old in all reality of things. And, he was sick for a while, but it looked like he was getting better. He did one of his first appearances, I think only a week or two before. And yeah, it's just a really sad time. So my heart goes out to him, obviously, and to the people. Of course, it's just wild news when you hear things like that, and somewhere along the line, I think that we eternalize these beings that they might be here forever, and no one is. And that's the thing that we all have in common, is our story too must end here and continue on somewhere else. Now, moving on quickly from that, because that is just sad, right? But Hollywood, hear me and hear me well. Enough with the remakes. I don't speak for everyone, but I think I can speak for a majority of people when hearing this news. Heck to the MRFer, no. No! I heard news last week that they were thinking about remaking the movie The Bodyguard. The classic movie, The Bodyguard. The movie that cannot be untouched. The movie that cannot be redone. A movie that cannot be retold. Okay? And they are thinking about redoing it. And I heard this and I thought, no way. And now I'm hearing rumors that they're considering one, Tay Swizzy, or two, Kim Kardashian. Please don't do this. Please. I'm begging you. We're begging you. Don't do this. Please, for the love of God, do not remake The Bodyguard with either of these people. Okay? Taylor Swift or Kim Kardashian to play Whitney Houston's iconic role in The Bodyguard? I don't even know what is going on in the minds of producers right now. There are so many original stories. There are so many people writing feature scripts. There are so many ideas out there. There are so many movies that need to be made and stories that are so important to tell. And there are so much talent out there with writers. There is no need to remake The Bodyguard, and there is no need to remake it with either of these people. I'm so sorry, but taking Whitney Houston's iconic feature film debut with the most legendary soundtrack that will never ever, it is not even like a soundtrack to a film. It is literally still being echoed and played all over the world. It is untouchable. To replace Whitney Houston with either of these women is absolutely, to me, I can't. Every day I find myself so shocked and surprised by news and by Hollyweird. I swear to gosh. I swear, like this. I need to know what y'all think about this, because what? You will never, ever, ever be able to remake Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston's The Bodyguard. I don't care. If you want to make a movie with Kim Kardashian, go ahead. If you want to make a movie with Taylor Swift, go ahead. If you want to make almost the same movie as The Bodyguard, I guess because you have no original ideas, go ahead. But please do not call it a Bodyguard remake. And please, I'm begging you, there is no need to remake this movie. Okay? There is no need. It's absolutely, I think, insane. It's a waste of money. It should never be touched. I think what we should do, you know how there's like properties that like can't be torn down because like of like laws, whatever, wherever I'm going with this, I'm just going for it. I think the same thing should be true of movies. Do you know, there should be some movies that are stamped unremakeable. You're not allowed to touch them. And for me, this is one of them. Okay? For me, this is one of them. Look what y'all already did to Dirty Dancing. Don't even get me started on my favorite movie, Dirty Dancing, okay? And now you're going to do The Bodyguard? I don't think so. Don't touch it. I don't, like, honestly, and if you're trying to get Kim Kardashian or Tay Swizzy because of their fan base or whatever, this is not going to work. I'm telling you, this is, stop. Let it go. On to the next idea, please. In my opinion, of course. And I don't know what Kevin Costner thinks about it. I would love to have a conversation with him one day about all of the stuff happening in Hollywood and all of his thoughts, especially after his side eye at the SNL that we all saw, right? But I do fully believe that Whitney would not approve, okay? She would not approve, and I think there are mega legends out there that would agree with me, and yeah. Taylor Swift to replace Whitney Houston? Are we gone mad? Kim Kardashian. We all saw her little Santa music video, right? She's supposed to sing. She's supposed to replace Whitney? I'm speechless. That never happens. Okay. And now, the lawsuit that has shaken the world. The sham lawsuit being quoted as super shady. Some saying it's illegal, others saying it's just wrong. Whichever side you're on of it being absolutely unethical by law, it is morally unethical. And now Brian Freeman has responded, and so has the Lively's team. And I have a response to their response. So let's just get into it. As I said in my previous videos, I think this lawsuit was absolutely disgusting. Also, I think it is honestly illegal because what I've been saying is in the lawsuit, which I read to you all out loud and we went over, it's claiming that the John Does 1 through 10 were employees or contractors with the John Doe plaintiffs, who now turn out to be Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, or just Blake Lively or whatever the frig, right? So let's just say it's just Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds had nothing to do with this, even though it was his company and it was created in 2010 by him. Let's just say he had nothing to do with this. Okay. Let's just live in Delulu land with them for 1 second. Regardless of that, the lawsuit is claiming that the unknown John Does 1 through 10 was an employee or contractor or had business with Blake Lively, the plaintiff. But guess who didn't have that? Stephanie Jones. Stephanie Jones owed nothing to Blake Lively. She was never contracted or employed by Blake Lively. She was employed by Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer, and Jennifer Abel was Jones's employee. So to just turn over all of the phone records is absolutely nasty. It's just wrong, and I think it's illegal, but again, I don't know. We're going to have to see what Brian Freeman, cooks up next with this, because it's absolutely insane. And if the Lively parties hadn't come out and confirmed that this is how it happened, I honestly would even second guess if it was true, because it's so out of the scope of what is normal. And let's just get into the statements before I continue to go on with this, because I have a lot to go over. And after I go over their statements, we're going to go into some text messages that Blake Lively didn't cherry pick to feed her narrative. Brian Freeman has come out and made statements along with the Lively camp. Good times. Brian Freeman is quoting to say, with a clear tone of more to come, Brian Freeman's not doubting that subpoena anymore. Because remember, nobody had seen it. Nobody even knew if this was true or not true. Miss Lively's and Mr. Reynolds' company Van Zandt had nothing to do with this case, and they knew it, Freeman told Deadline on Monday. This sham lawsuit was designed to obtain subpoena power without oversight or scrutiny, and in doing so denied my clients the ability to contest the propriety, nature, and scope of the subpoena. Having filed more than his fair share of Doe suits over the years and taken slings and arrows for his tactics, Freeman added, "There is nothing normal about this. Officers of the court have a duty of candor to the court and an obligation not to file fictitious lawsuits that have no basis in fact or law. A party with no connection to these proceedings asserting a breach of contract against another party they claim not to be able to identify does not qualify. This was done in bad faith and constitutes a flagrant abuse of process." That's not what we've been saying all along since last Thursday. Okay. On the other side, Lively's primary lawyers, Ezra Hudson and Mike Gottlieb, not only acknowledge the Doe lawsuit, but assert it was above board and the best way to get to the heart of the online attacks of their client that marred the summer 2024 premiere of the domestic violence themed It Ends With Us. There is nothing untoward here, just conscientious and thorough investigation, the duo tells Deadline. The Lively parties acted upon reliable information and employed common tools such as Doe lawsuits, and civil subpoenas that are entirely lawful and appropriate for pursuing claims and uncovering the identity of unknown perpetrators of unlawful activities. Hudson and Gottlieb go on to say, pointing out that the result was, this lawsuit unearthed the Wayfarer party's documented plan, in their own words, in their own text messages, to destroy Blake Lively, a plan which they executed without transparency, disclosure, or notice to Miss Lively or the public, instead acting in a way they thought would be untraceable. We have I have a hard time reading this without laughing because the joke, the audacity. We have absolutely nothing to hide. Miss Lively voluntarily disclosed the subpoena in her first filing, knowing it would ultimately be produced to the Wayfarer parties in discovery. And that is precisely what will happen as Miss Lively's claims move forward in the proper litigation process. Okay. Ain't no way. Isn't no way a team that has pushed to get dismissed. Every one of the opposing parties to the Wayfarers put in a motion to get dismissed. Okay, number one, Lively pushed for attorney eyes only. On medical records, on witnesses, on her security team, etc., etc., etc. Nothing to hide. Okay, and nothing to hide. You have a secret subpoena in your husband's business from 2010 that was sent to Stephanie Jones and not even any of the other parties. And also, if you knew that you were sending it to Stephanie Jones, why isn't her name even in it? You got reliable information that a party was smearing you, and yet none of those people are named in it. It doesn't make sense. It's so shady. And it shows that you have everything to hide, actually. But whatever drugs you're taking to fuel this narrative that's still living in complete Delulu land about this whole smear campaign, please, can we all have some? Because whatever you're taking to tell us all of these absolute horrendous, huge lies, it's not working. Okay? It's not working on us. So maybe we need some of the same drugs that you're taking, because what reality are you living in to even be able to say we have nothing to hide while hiding a subpoena and a secret lawsuit? I mean, what is going on? And since we're here, and since I'm just extra irritated in their response, I've gone down the timeline yet again for like the 27th time, and I just want to go over text messages that Blake Lively didn't put in her lawsuit, because she likes to always quote that same one, we can bury anyone, we want to destroy Blake Lively. But what about all of the other text messages that show that, number one, in fact, it was Leslie Sloan and Blake Lively smearing the Wayfarer team? Number two, that Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath, the entire time that Blake Lively was apparently being smeared, they were trying to still protect her. And also that Stephanie Jones started it. Stephanie Jones, where were your texts in Blake Lively's complaint and lawsuit? Did you have a little deal with Leslie Sloan that none of your stuff would be shown? And where are all the texts in Blake Lively's lawsuit about Leslie Sloan breaking the truce that the Wayfarer team and her had, and talking to the reporters and smearing the Wayfarer parties? Because if anyone was doing a smear campaign, darling, it was you. I fully believe this all started because Leslie Sloan and Stephanie Jones and Blake Lively. I mean, all three of them. But I really, truly, truly, truly think that this has Stephanie Jones in the middle of it. That she started this fire and didn't realize how big it would be. Now, some of this might be a little recap for some of you, but some of it might be new because I found some new things today, even though I've read this multiple times. But let's just start with some of the text messages that Blake didn't put in her lawsuit, which I feel is very relevant. Like, for example, that in pre-production, she's claiming that there was no intimacy coordinator, but yet Justin Baldoni texted her, just hired intimacy coordinator who I love. We'll set you up to meet FT with her next week for intro. Whereas Blake wrote, I feel good. I can just meet her when we start. Thank you, though. Or these text messages. Right here during the production time. Let me just try to make these a little bigger for you. There we go. I just tried to make it a little bigger so everyone can see it. I think this works great. This is during production, and this was in April when Blake Lively was literally praising Justin Baldoni. Thank you. You're the absolute best. Thank you, heart. And what you did inspired me. I love what we're going to do. Then she wrote, I can send you my pass at the roof or just read with you when we get together next week. Let me know what you prefer, smiley face. If you knew me in person longer, you'd have a sense of how flirty and yummy the ball busting would play. It's my love language, spicy and playfully bold, never with teeth. And him serving it back to her is just as important. You don't usually see both the man and the woman with such agency and humor. Anyway, I can act it out for you next week to make sure it comes through, or I can send now. Let me know what you prefer, XX. To which she replies, sorry, was just crying my eyes out as my kids and family just left for another 5 weeks and it was a shit show. Or still in production when Blake Lively is still praising Jamie Heath and Justin Baldoni, and here she's saying, and I too promise, I'll freak you out, spook you, upset you, and be an actual beast. But I can promise it will always be in service of this movie and our shared goal. Well, you definitely did all of those things. And you are, in fact, an actual beast. Or also in pre-production, missing emails that literally say that the budget has gone over $615,000 and they've only shopped for Justin and Blake. They had to reshop everything for Blake after creative changes, and it's a lot of money. Or these text messages, and these messages were in May 3rd to be exact, where, do you know, Justin, where they were talking about the day, and Justin said, I like sentimental Blake, and she said, never met her. And he said, well, I like also asshole Blake, don't worry. Okay, good night. And she wrote, I've met her, so have my suppositories. Good night. It's weird when she's the one claiming that he was being inappropriate. But these text messages, like, is this really how you talk to your boss? Like, is this really how you talk to your boss? It's very strange. Now we have these text messages. This is very important to note because this text messages was sent in mid-May. Mid-May was also the time that Blake Lively in her own lawsuit was saying that she was texting the other actress and texting her friend, who's also Justin's friend, who we all think is Liz Plank, saying not to come to set because it's so toxic. These guys are creeps and clowns, etc., etc. And she's saying that in May, she was so uncomfortable because the 16 days she spent on set, she was being repeatedly SH'd. But these are text messages that she sent during that time. He gives her this whole praise. And then she wrote, this note means so much to me. I'm excited to start tomorrow, but it's only one place of the journey. We started months ago, and I'm grateful for all we've built so far. Thank you for caring so much and for putting every bit of you into showing it. You have given so much of your time to fight for great, and this hasn't gone unappreciated or unseen for a moment. Let's do this shit. These texts were at the end of May, so they were well into phase 1 of shooting. They had to postpone the set, of course, of shooting because Blake couldn't make it. But now they have shot. Now they're on day 6 of shooting. And this is where Blake says she was being repeatedly SH. She felt so uncomfortable. It was super traumatizing. And then she's texting him. He wrote to her, I'm not going to tell you that you were amazing because you tease me for being so sentimental, but you were amazing today. And she writes back, thank you. I do appreciate it. I'm just a ball buster and it means a lot to me. I care a great deal and am and always want to deliver. You were terrific. I'm proud of everything we did today, but really every day. These were texts in June. So after Blake Lively claims in her lawsuit that she was so uncomfortable the entire month of May, she was talking to other colleagues, other co-stars, other actresses, as well as texting her friends how creepy and clowny these guys were and how she was being repeatedly SH'd. She writes to him, thanks so much for this text. I appreciate your empathy and I give it in return. You're in the same boat. I always trying to give my all. I am always trying to give my all, and then half again more. You do too, and I appreciate it. X. And we don't have to go into the pumping text because she did that in phase 1, sent a text, as well as sent a text to go into her trailer pumping the day after she had the on all hands meeting. So we already talked about that in detail. Interesting she didn't put those texts in there, but I've talked at that kind of like exhausting detail about those texts because it's so crazy. But check my timeline video if you want to get into that. But this was sent in February of 2024. February of 2024. So she's saying the entire shooting, was so uncomfortable, etc., etc. I mean, how many times do I have to say it? But this was after the meeting. She's still being so nice to them. Hey, thank you for the note. I appreciate it. I love to be in the past. This is when she's trying to get into the editing room. I'd love to be in the passenger seat with you as soon as possible. I don't need you to formally present anything. I understand you've seen the first assembly and have a mountain ahead of you. I'll be invaluable to you in recall alone as you put together what you're looking for. I've also been rewatching all of the dailies, tons of nuanced gems. The sooner we put our heads together, the better. Very excited to dive back into the work. Let me know. So still, I mean, you're willing to sit in editing rooms with the guys who sexually harassed you repeatedly and took advantage of you and made you feel so traumatized by it. Then in this text, this is after she watched the cut of the film, she has all of these notes on the rooftop scene. And you could read them yourself, but it's just like, who are you? Who are you? They gave her too much power. They gave her too much control. But still, in these notes, now we're into March. So she's still very much comfortable speaking with them, still very much comfortable being in editing bays with them, still totally fine. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. You just sexually harassed me and repeatedly took advantage of me and creeped me out and it was so traumatizing, but hey, everything's okay. Let me sit in an editing room with you. And everything was fine. Everything was fine, Blake, wasn't it? Until this message when they told you that they were going to give you the PGA credit, where they write you, Jamie tries to level with you and reach out to you because as soon as you found out that you can be in the editing room, you started asking for more and more and more and more. So Jamie tried to reach out to you to smooth everything over. And as soon as you knew that they were going to write you the PGA credit, everything changed. Even your tone in this text is completely different. No more XOs, no more smiley faces, no more nothing. What are you saying? Hey, Jamie, feel free to send through anything you like to say here. I hope you're well, Blake. So then he tells you exactly how he's feeling about everything. And then you say, thank you, Jamie. I appreciate you both acknowledging the work. You can send the letters to me here or via email, and I'll pass along to the people I'm speaking with at the PGA. I'll let them know now that your letters are incoming. And then after that, guess what? They were out. The Wayfarer parties were out of there because she got everything she wanted. Let's talk about, Blake, how you got Maximum Effort, your husband, on board to do all of the marketing and then blamed your failed marketing attempts on Wayfarer. Maximum Effort is on board to help as much or as little as you want. Really, as little as they want, because they literally asked them to stop and you guys wouldn't. You made a mockery of the entire movie. Let me know. We have a great group over there who can help supplement and do the work that Sony won't. So we can just hand it to them between our collective resources. What does he say? Ha ha, my kids are in the jinx phase right now. I'm going to push to hire maximum effort. Bad idea. But all is led by me, Ryan, and blank, so we'll make sure to weed out any of the lame ideas. They don't need to hire. Part of why I didn't want to die on this hill. It's just me and Ryan. We work for free for the family. It's mafia style on this. Really, did you work for free, Blake? Or did everyone else get paid about $200,000, including Justin Baldoni, and you got $3 million? And how much did maximum effort make? I would love to know. But funny how it's probably going to be attorney eyes only on that one. And then here is the Wayfair marketing. They were told in July of 2024 that let me make sure everyone can see it on the screen. Okay, y'all can. They were told in July of 2024 that the creative team has been dealing with extensive revisions based on feedback from Blake. Surprise, surprise. Ryan's agency, Maximum Effort, is producing content, some of which will roll out on his handle. Why? He's not part of the freaking movie. There was a shoot with 3 creations and the rest of the cast. Sony did not have much opportunity to be involved. Interesting. In July 2024, whilst dealing with the Baldoni's mounting PR headaches, Baldoni's publicist Jennifer Abel was also dealing with a difficult work relationship with her employer, Stephanie motherfucking Jones. The tension between Jones and Abel reached a tipping point when Jones, whose behavior had become increasingly erratic and hostile, demanded Abel corroborate falsified accusations about a senior Jones work employee in an effort to drive him out. When Abel refused to go along with it, Jones responded with mockering with her 12-year-old drama queen, calling her a 12-year-old drama queen. As a result, on July 10th, 2024, Abel notified Jones of her decision to depart from Jones' work and intention to start her own business. Abel offered a 6-week transition period with an end date of August 23rd, 2024, and notified her colleagues. But then Stephanie Jones sent a text to Jennifer Abel after getting off a meeting with everyone saying, "You just quit on a Zoom with your employee, Jen, then blasted our entire senior team with your resignation. Grow up." Jennifer Abel responded by, "I've been nothing but a good partner and helped grow LA from 4 people to 13, and I'm proud of that. I don't want this to be hostile." Stephanie Jones wrote, "I'm not the one creating hostility or drama. You have and continue to do so. No one senior behaves like this. It's reactionary, dramatic, and immature, sad. And I have been equally good to you. No one else would do this for you what I have done. You'll see. Your behavior is appalling. You'll see." Okay. Then what happens is all of this drama starts happening between It Ends With Us. There's a lot of stories coming out. They're not really sure what's going on. Justin and Wayfair are being pushed out of the premiere. They're being pushed out of all the marketing. So then Jennifer Abel wants to hire what are they called? A crisis manager. So she wants to hire Melissa Nathan, but Stephanie Jones does not want to. Definitely not. Okay, she does not want to hire Melissa Nathan, and Stephanie Jones is very clear about this. Then they do have meetings with Melissa Nathan. And of course, this wouldn't be in Blake's lawsuit, but I just think it's very interesting to note exactly what the plan was. And you guys can see it on the screen. It was literally just to protect Justin, to support Justin Baldoni, Wayfair Studios, and its applicable executives and independent strategic counsel and perspective, curate statements, background information, and talking points to press reflecting company's core values, key messages, and the integral role they played to bring this film to life. Develop a comprehensive scenario planning document outlining a series of potential outcomes with a suggested course of action for each variable. Catalog third-party validators from the crew, previous projects, and other industry peers to establish credibility around the narrative and help shape perception to the press. Provide input on specific inquiries and liable with reporters to mitigate negative stories, correct inaccurate, monitor coverage and social conversations, correcting and updating stories and headlines in real time. Sounds pretty freaking normal. This is where it gets interesting because this is where Stephanie Jones is literally telling Jennifer Abel to be honest about how she feels about Melissa Nathan and that she doesn't like her. And it's very, very interesting because none of that was mentioned, of course. Why would it be? But she does go on and like really attack Jennifer Abel for picking Melissa Nathan. And I think that's where the bitterness all started to play. In August, some of the text messages that Blake also forgot to add was when they received the studio's scenario planning. Justin Baldoni, gotta make sure I have my phone on because I'm expecting somebody. Justin Baldoni messaged morning. This is what they did put in, is that he didn't feel the same protection as on the call. So he wrote, morning, not in love with the document they sent. Not sure I'm feeling the same protection I felt on the call. This is the first time I'm personally gone through scenario planning. Then he wrote, yeah, just feels very much like there is not much defense. He wants defense, not attack. And also them feeling strong, like she's going to do something just a bit concerning what everyone had originally thought. Jennifer Abel texts, the truth is your defense. You have done nothing wrong, and there is over a year worth of facts and paper trails and people who can go on background as your defense. This document, oh gosh, I hope that doesn't pop up on the screen. I just got a text message. Sorry, guys. Real life here. This document is an overview, and I think as the situation evolved and as it has become realized, the great lengths she has gone in order to cut you out of not just the film, but promo, the premiere, etc. We need to prepare as if she will also go through any great lengths with press. It's a good thing if we are all prepared for the worst outcome, because then if and when it's not as bad and we are over prepared. So they were preparing for Blake to do what she does and go cuckoo. You know what I'm saying? And just so everyone can see how clearly the texts were cherry picked, here's just examples of what she used. I'll go through them in detail, but like you can just see here like what was excluded and what was entered. They used certain text messages and then excluded these whole paragraphs of messages. It's absolutely wild. It's wild that they just chose messages to fit a narrative. And this is why I think the New York Times should not be dismissed, although it's looking like they probably will. There is also these texts between Jennifer Abel and Melissa Nathan where they say, I'm having a reckless thoughts and wanting to plant some pieces this week of how horrible Blake is to work with just to get ahead of it. She's putting us through hell. But then they say, no, don't do it. Melissa Nathan's like, don't do anything. They want to, but they don't. They don't put any stories out. So as more headlines are coming out in August, in the beginning of August, Melissa Nathan texts Jennifer Abel, I'm just going to say one thing. This is the time to make decisions on social planning. Would rather be in front of it than in the back, and it costs more to be in the back. That's all I'll say. And I hope I am 100% wrong, but just to flag, that's my job. Jennifer Abel says, do you think we need it from what you're seeing? Because we have also planned a response if needed, considering all of the interviews he is doing between now and Friday. So they're just saying that like, hey, headlines are coming out. We need to get ahead of this. Do you know? We need to be ahead of what's happening. She says, not this second, but it's one of those better safe than sorry. But from what I'm saying, I don't think you need it this second, but just want to be really, really aware. In this same time, in August, what a lot of people don't know is that like the Wayfair parties were talking to the Blake Lively parties. Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel were in contact with Leslie Sloan, Blake's representative, and they made a truce. They made a truce on August 8th not to talk to anybody. It's right here. Melissa Nathan says, just also, I'm not doing one thing without speaking to you. I'm not answering one email about this situation. I've told everyone not to do one thing, plant seed, even speak to one reporter, even on the background. Now I'm involved. There will be no shock surprises to you. Guess what happens after this? After this truce? Guess who broke it? Leslie Sloan broke it. It wasn't the Wayfair parties. It wasn't Justin Baldoni, Jennifer Abel, Melissa Nathan. Do you know who it was? Stephanie Jones and Leslie Sloan. And it's right here. Stephanie Jones writes, blank has been nice and fixed things for us in the past. I can give her a call. That is nothing, Burger. Then Jamie Heath has to tell her, do not contact anyone at all right now. Stop it. I'm sorry for being direct, but I need to be direct. I don't want any messaging with anyone right now. So I'm officially needing that to be understood. Stephanie Jones says, to clarify again, I have not spoken to Daily Mail. The above isn't true. Why would they say that then? Why would the Daily Mail say that? Why would they say, hey, we got it from Stephanie Jones? I also don't believe blank or blank at Sony are saying that above. Because I guess Sony had told them that, hey, someone from your team, Stephanie, is talking to these press. And now Stephanie's saying she's not saying it. She's like, I'm not contacting press, but it is concerning if blank and blank are saying I've escalated this as I haven't even touched this. I'm going to contact them. Jamie Heath says, Stephanie, as your client, and the one pays for the services, I am stating to not contact anyone regarding Wayfair or Sony at this time. If you do after this text, it will be a major problem. This needs to be respected now. Like, get the hint, girl. Get the hint. Some text that Blake also didn't put in her complaint. Steph chimed into the Daily Mail article and then screenshot it and sent it to Jamie and Tara and was like, I know her and I will handle and she will kill it. And Jamie told her not to stand down because you're handling it. That made me giggle. I'm sure when Stephanie Jones read that text message, she was so mad because they're literally laughing about how she's a disaster. But then this is what that's just ruined our strategy. She's just ruined our strategy. Blank was freaking holding. And so freaking pissed, Jen. I just told Jamie, yep, I saw Leslie's messages and... Sorry, I gotta read it here. I can't read it. It was so small. Yep, I just saw Leslie's messages and now the studio is calling Stephanie Jones. She's ruined our whole strategy. Later they say, I think I need to talk to Leslie so she knows it's me and sort of a joint story. This is my only move I've got next. We've had a soft, nice plan that was working. I told Jamie. I had the head of Sony call me about this. I want her to know it's not me and we have been honoring this. So they're talking about Leslie Sloan. She's going to call Leslie Sloan and tell her like, hey, this wasn't us. This wasn't us. Don't worry. I'm in charge. Then Jennifer Abel says, I'm going to ask Leslie if we can do a group text and update her on the request incoming that we are not weighing in on. She needs to help kill the NYP story she planted. I'm still in shock. Of course, it's the only thing that could blow up, and it's my sister. So Leslie Sloan is trying to feed stories to the media, even though they're supposed to have this truce. So who was doing the smear campaign? This is what is so boggling my mind, that there are these text messages that they are aware of that exist, and they're still trying to only cherry pick certain texts that try to say that they did a smear campaign when they're literally going behind the backs of Wayfair and breaking the truth that they had in good faith. On August 9th, Jennifer Abel received an inquiry to talk about a story. Jennifer Abel wrote, so apparently is speaking to Leslie to get Blake to cut the shit. I think we can get through this if we just get the NYP piece killed and Leslie agrees to a truce. So like, who was feeding who the stories? Like the proof is in the pudding, sweetheart. Like there are so many text messages that were missing and that they definitely had in the phone. Like here where it says, is it horrible to say that I don't think it's that bad? No, because I know what we're watching for. So all things considered, it looks like trash and gossip. It looks like a plant from Blake's camp trying to steer the narrative. Again, from Blake's camp. FYI, Stephanie is likely calling Leslie to clear her name about calling Daily Mail. Unbelievable. Tell her not to answer. This is crazy. Stephanie Jones still inserting herself. Then they write, so are we in the clear now? Did we survive? We survived. I actually think because all of the noise and all of the stories pretty much saying the same thing that I kind of got lost in a really weird way, if you know what I mean. So they haven't said one thing to the media, and all of these texts prove it. They've been ignoring the media while Blake's team and Leslie Stone and Stephanie Jones are putting out stories. And this is one of the emails that I find the most interesting, because during this whole smear campaign that Blake Lively is claiming that Wayfair and Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath were doing against her, they are literally emailing Jamie Heath from this and the Sony marketing team saying, as you know, this has always been a concern of ours, and I think we might agree that there is enough response to at least consider giving it a bit more thought. It won't hurt the movie by being more deliberate in embracing the DV aspect. People need to know that we too recognize the gravity and sensitivities of this subject. And they put in Blake's "grab your friends, wear your florals" from the It Ends With Us movie. So even during them Blake claiming that there is a smear campaign, they're still trying to protect her and still trying to get her to pivot. Here there's some stories coming out, and she's saying, are you following that account? She freaks me out, LOL. That's what I was worried about. LAT, no request though. I think people are bored. The majority of socials are pro Justin, and I don't even agree with half of them. Of course, Blake put that one in. But then it says, you're okay. It's been too much. Press too chaotic. I told you, People Magazine messaging me. Then they messaged me again to say they're getting radio silence on everything. I mean, that was just a lot of work, just talking everyone off the effing ledge for those 2 pieces. I feel like I've been hit by a truck. And then after the weekend, people are going to move completely past. It's boring. Nothing came out of it for anyone. Jamie wanted to have more of the crew reach out and give positive things to combat the stories. And I'm like, why? Why give this fuel? And then they go on to say that they don't think that they need to do anything else. And also with Jamie Heath trying to get positive stories out, then people start digging on the people who want to give positive stories. Don't feel anything. And then they say they think the truth will win. Like the Wayfair people think the truth will win. Even here, they're just like trying to defend themselves. They think they have the truth on their side and it will win. And Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel are not buying that. And then they say, and I'm like, we are dealing with a psychopath who literally called you a sexual predator. Let's be happy with difficult, because they were being very difficult. And then they said she's effing herself by doing the unfollow thing and insisting on no photos together. Exactly. You're insisting on no photos together. You can't be around him. You're pushing him out of the thing. But all the way up until you got the PGA credit, you were totally comfortable with them. I wish everyone could understand it the way I understand it. It's so crazy. It's so crazy to then say, oh, you can't be around him, when you were with him all the way up until you got exactly what you wanted. Like, just take a look at what they've included in the CRD complaint and what wasn't included, and tell me. Look at all the stuff excluded and all the stuff included. You cannot tell me that this was not cherry-picked text messages to feed a certain narrative. Shame on the New York Times, shame on Blake Lively and her entire team. Then we all know about the infamous apology that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively prepared for Baldoni, Heath, and Wayfair. In that same response, Melissa Nathan said, "At what point do you fight? It's now. Lawyer up now." Jennifer Abel replies, "This is so crazy. Honestly, I've never had anything like it. Can he please hire a lawyer? He needs to. He has one, but he needs a litigator. Get BF, Brian Friedman. He's waiting and will also take on WME." Yup, because at this point, they've also heard now that Ryan Reynolds has been going to WME to get them to drop Justin Baldoni and calling him a sexual predator. Okay? Yes, Brian Friedman, he'll take on anyone that is doing this kind of stuff to an innocent person. And this is what's crazy too, because then even still in August, Leslie provided the New York Post with false and misleading information. She says, can we say sources say Justin, so now the New York Post is contacting them saying, hey, Leslie gave us this information about Blake's cut making it and how she had her cut make it and da-da-da-da-da. And they're just saying hey, let's just give them this, her say in the final cut to ensure it had the proper female gaze when telling Lively's story. Then they go out and they tell the Hollywood Reporter, and we all see these headlines that he hired the same crisis management that Johnny Depp hired. Wow, I wonder where that came from. Again, the Lively camp reached out to Leslie Sloan herself to see if there was anything that they can mend or anything that they can fix or do whatever to make this okay. And they says, I don't understand how we were letting her continue to leak stories and do this to us. No, it's so sad. Then he goes on to tell them everything that happened, I guess, on the call, which is very blurred out and can't really read all the specifics. But then she says, do you believe Leslie? Can you spin crisis PR thing so it's actually factual? There have been lies put out up against powerful people just protecting myself. Tag reps, a lot of people, and the headlines was just to smear more. So do we say Blake and Ryan hired Harvey Weinstein's publicist? Because they did. Which they still didn't put out. Everyone kind of just teamed that up together afterwards. But then they ask about the conversation that they had with Leslie Sloan. I said to Leslie on the phone, you tell us what you think the solution here is. He is respectful. They don't like. He plays by their rules. They don't like. What do they like? What do you want? I feel she needs to know we aren't scared. Oh, she does. I went through every single thing truthfully with her. I think she's trying to get the cast and blank to make a statement or something together. Doesn't that show our cards if she knows our whole defense and you know her attack? Sorry, I'm just learning, not questioning. She doesn't care about that. She just cares about Blake looking like shit, and Blake is looking absolutely horrendous. Then at the end of this text, he says, she wants the cast and blank to talk, but they won't. And at the end of all of this, he writes, she wants the cast and blank to talk, but they won't. Yeah, explain. I believe some of them are regretting choosing his side. Yes, that's why she outed you as my crisis person. So if you ever do them, she can point to the something stuff and it looks like I'm hiding. I don't trust her. As you shouldn't. Then even still, there's texts that are missing from the stuff from Blake's thing, you know. Right here, this screenshot was omitted from Lively's complaint, and this screenshot literally says, the mail is going nuts. Damn, this is unfair because it's also not me. Everything now looks like it's me. Maybe not to you. No, it totally does look like his side. They're omitted texts saying that it's not us. Wow, you really outdid yourself with this piece. Upside down smiley face, meaning they're joking around, being like, this is not us. This is not us. Like, it's a joke. This whole smear campaign is a joke because who was smearing who? Like, look at all the stuff that was excluded from Blake Lively's claim. It's absolutely nuts. I mean, Justin does reach out to them again and explain, like, please tell me this isn't us. Like, it's all right here. This is just text between Jennifer Abel. So, of course, Blake wouldn't have this part, but I just found it super interesting. Jennifer Abel was talking to the head guys, I guess, at Jonesworks, seeing if they can get her phone number back. She's just trying to protect herself. She just wants her phone number, all of that stuff. This was days before her last day, but then 2 days before her last day, we all know what happened. And she went into work. She still had days left to work. She went into work. She was brought in by security into a boardroom with a tech guy and a lawyer. The tech guy scoured her laptop, allegedly, as well as her cell phone. They made her sign a bunch of documents. They said that she had all of this stuff on her computer, which they found nothing. Like, all of this crazy stuff. And then she was walked out and they took her phone. And this is the text message that she sent days after to Stephanie Jones, begging her to give her back her phone number that she had as a teenager. Like, she's always had this phone number. And then that same day, Leslie Sloan called Melissa Nathan and said, I saw the text messages. Be prepared to get sued. Same day she saw the text messages. All these people do is tell on themselves, I swear to gosh. But even still after that, Justin Baldoni messages them with he's getting bots or people are smearing Blake Lively on his account or whatever. And he said, this is an example of someone trolling Blake on all my posts, but doesn't seem like a real fake account. Yes, it could also be an actual troll, as they exist too. But yes, 100%, this is not anyone from your team. My gosh, how many times do they have to say it wasn't them? Then more articles are coming out about Blake Lively. And then they write, Blake Lively fearing for her career amid it ends with us backlash. Then they write, God, I'm so over this. I'm sure Leslie thinks we placed this one as well. Yup, and same. In August, during the smear campaign, still more articles obviously are coming out. I mean, the whole world was talking about it. It was weird that Justin was just cut out. Justin texts the group, how are you feeling about this? The truth hasn't come out yet. Seems to be getting more pickup now. Do you have any concerns or anything we should be worried about? I know that both my wife and I are both feeling like they could definitely be up to something over there. Melissa Nathan's trying to make him feel better, telling her about the plan. Justin writes, okay, thank you. Yeah, I just know her personality, and this is the kind of person that genuinely believes she is right. She writes, she fully does. I know it. So those people seek justice at any cost. That's why I just have a hard time believing she's done, but trusting you and grateful for you. And then she writes, she looks abominable if she does anything against you, and she knows it. And abominable she looks. Those are just like honestly not even all of the text messages, and I really went through that so quickly just to prove who was doing the smear campaign. It was literally Blake Lively and her team. They had a truce in good faith to not go to the press, to not share any stories, and to always tell each other what was coming down the pipeline. Do you know how long it took Leslie Sloan to break the truth with Melissa Nathan? 9 minutes. 9 minutes later, Blake Lively's own team was talking to the press. It was never Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Jennifer Abel, or Melissa Nathan. It was Stephanie Jones, Leslie Sloan, and Blake Lively. They had the smear campaign, and they started this from the beginning. All Justin and the Wayfair parties were trying to do in their plan was to defend the attack. Like any normal human being. Defend yourselves. Blake Lively, to me, is an unbelievable, out of control, narcissistic sociopath, and so is her husband, Ryan Reynolds. Okay, I hope you followed along, but that's it from me today. I just find it so unbelievable that their statements are still full of lies and completely gaslighting when we have proof already. We have receipts. We have the text messages. We have the full text messages. So you can keep saying the one text message, oh, they want to bury us. They're going to destroy us. They're going to blah, 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 untraceable. First of all, it was 2024. Nothing on the internet is untraceable anymore, as you know. Because look at all of the stuff that we've done up about, Ryan Reynolds now and Blake Lively and the lawsuit and everything. Okay? It's just nuts, and I'm over it. I'm over the gaslighting. I'm over the BS. I'm over the lies. I think they are monsters, okay? Monsters, and I think truly what they've done here is illegal. I think the sham lawsuit is illegal. I think that Stephanie Jones could have denied the subpoena. She could have fought the subpoena. You know, it doesn't make any sense. She had no employment contract with Blake Lively. These women did it because they're absolutely vile. They were bitter and they were angry and they needed someone to blame. And instead of looking inwards, they blamed the nicest people in the world. Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath and Liz Plank. I'm not done with you yet, girl. Okay? Because what you did probably is not illegal, but it's damn disgusting. Okay, you turned your back on these guys who had your back for 4 years and brought you up, poured their heart outs to you every week on a podcast. Who needs enemies when you have friends like that, huh? But that's enough from me today. I don't really have anything that's coming to me like inspiring or motivating or anything from my soul. Except just showing up every day. So I'm hoping these cards, listen, bitch, will give me something to just think on so that we could all leave here a little bit more, I don't know, just with something else in our hearts, something else to think about, something else to inspire us to keep going and to show ourselves a little bit more grace and love and to, I don't know, just be here, I guess, Oh, wow. You are in control. 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 I don't know what that means. I kind of agree with it in some sense, and then I kind of don't agree with it because although we are in control of our actions and we are in control of our feelings and we are in control of showing up, I feel like we are not in control of the result. We are not in control of the plan that the universe and God has for us, but we are in control of being able to heal and being able to look in the mirror every day and tell the universe who we are and show up as that person every day. And we are in control of aligning perfectly to the opportunities that can await us as we become the people who we're supposed to be. I think we do have a lot of control, and I think also in that control, we need to let go of control a little bit. I think we need to let go of the idea that we control the results or where it's going or how people are going to view it, in a sense, if that makes sense. So, as much as we do have control, we also don't have some control, and we have to leave some of it to faith, unwavering faith that by you just transforming and believing and loving yourself and fostering a strong relationship with you and to source and always staying open, no matter how the world pummels you down, to always just try to keep your heart open, that things are going to work out. So I don't know. I say let go a little bit. Let go of control a little bit, and you never know what's going to happen. I didn't think this channel was going to happen. I would never have guessed it. I didn't know anything. Sometimes you just have to let go of control a little bit and only control what you can control, which is how you show up for yourself. And I think that's the most important. Actually, that is what it is. Control what you can control and let go of the rest. And what you can control is how you talk to yourself, how you feel about yourself, and how you are of service to others and to the world. So with that, I hope that made any... I always think I go on these rants and I never know if it resonates with anyone, but I hope it definitely resonated with one of you. I hope you're having the best day ever. Thank you so much for being here. Like always, I love you and goodbye. Bye.